How long have you been in the area?
Ever since 1927.
You were born here.
Right.
And how long had your family been in the area before you were born?
I'd say they come in the 1800s.
After the Civil War?
Right.
Notice you have some nice pictures there in the book on the Henderson clan.
Uh-huh.
I hope we can use some of those Park Service in the future. Did you have a large family?
Pretty large family. There was 12 or 13 on either side of my mother's family and my dad's too.
How about some of the other families in the area?
Not quite as large, but they had from 6 to 10, most of them did.
Large family was an asset then.
Right.
Who were some of the other families that lived in the area near the canyon, near the park?
Bob Powell, his family, and Luther Meddard's family, and Rufus Henderson family, and Uncle Joe Henderson. Right around close to us, within a mile or so.
And how did most of the families make their living?
They farmed.
And what type of farming did they do?
They raised corn and cotton, along with their other truck patches.
Just pick up a little side money.
Right. And to make it through the winter. Sweet potatoes, arse potatoes, and peanuts, and something like that.
Well, most of the work that they did was for their own use.
Right.
Not for selling.
That's right.
Subsistence.
They had to have that in order to get by.
How about timbering?
Yeah, there was some fine timber here at that time, and they cut some of it along.
What type of trees were they?
They were some pines that would saw out 1,500, 2,000 feet.
One tree?
One tree. Forest pines.
And those were still here when you were young?
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, they cut them. Sawmill man moved in here and bought them big trees on our old home place, and Archie Smith's place up there above us bought them and trucked them to their sawmill.
Tell me about this story, it might have been a little before that, about the fellow that came and illegally cut in the canyon, built a dam down there. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I know a little. I don't know all of it, but I know some. His name was Strauss. That's all I ever heard, that his name was Strauss, and he moved here, and they wasn't anybody that knew who that canyon belonged to, and he told them that he owned the canyon, and he set up camp down in the canyon and hired a lot of people out here on the mountain to go down in there and help him build a dam.
And how did that work, the dam?
Way my dad talked, it worked pretty good, but the most of the timber that they cut and rolled in the river, why the oaks went to the bottom and hung under rocks, and the other logs went down in people's fields down there at Canyon Mouth Park. And it sort of, the man didn't get any good out of it.
So what happened in the end of that? You know?
The government men found it out, and they come and got that Mr. Strauss, and that's all I ever heard about it. I think they jailed him or done something. So
there was activity in that canyon then?
It sure was, and people out here on the top went down in there and got the top out of the pine trees and hewed them into cross ties. And he found it out, and the government men found it out, rather, and they told them that they'd have to pay for them, and they estimated every cross tie that was got out of the tops of the trees, and they had to pay for them.
And that was, do you know, near date of that when that happened?
Let's see. They built the dam in 1919. I remember my dad talking about it. It was in the 1920s. I don't know exactly. Somewhere between 25 and 28.
Any of that left, the dam, or any of the...
Last time I was down there was a few logs left. But after that flood we had a few years ago, I don't know where they are now or not.
What other uses did people make of the canyon back in those days?
The only use that I know of that they used it for was to go down in there and swim.
I know you've done that. You and your family have done a lot of
Right.
recreation. How about, you mentioned in the timbering, did they have any types of mills here, water-powered mills, on any of the creeks or on the river?
Not that I've heard of.
Sawmills.
Right.
Did they use the water for any other type of purposes? Grist mills?
Grist mill, yeah. Yeah, they was one or two that I remember, one especially that I remember down on Johnny's Creek.
Did you go off of the mountain very much?
Very little. Mostly to Fort Payne, and that was seldom ever.
What was it? Why did you go?
To get some plow tools, and in the fall of the year, why we'd take a bale of cotton down there and sell it. You had to haul it and sell it back then.
Would that be a community effort or just a family? One family do that type thing?
It'd be a family or family.
Now in the community here, what was the center of the community? Churches, or where did people meet?
Yeah, they had a couple of churches that they met, and then actually I don't remember anything else about it.
What denomination were the churches?
Baptists.
All Baptists?
Uh-huh.
And about how many people would you say were in the communities? I mean, in the church congregations?
It would be full, I guess, probably 30 or 40.
How about stores? Were there any stores up here?
Yeah. There was one right down here just below where I live. And then there was one up at Sigsbee. And may have been one up at Dogtown.
Could you describe them, what they were like and what they sold?
They sold just about everything that a body needed. They sold flour and meal and kerosene, which back then, why, everybody used kerosene. And sugar and salt, things like that.
The old jot 'em down mercantile.
Yeah, right.
Lum and Abner.
Yeah.
How about schools? Were there many schools?
They was in this area and around the Canyon area, they was 2.
How long did they stay? How long was the school?
I went to school down here at Lickskillet, and 2 or 3 years. I don't know how long it'd been before I ever went to school there, but I went, I believe it's 3 years right down here, and then they had school in down at Black Oak in the church house.
All ages attended the same school.
Right.
About how many people, kids, in a school?
Oh, there's about 20 or 25.
Would you happen to have any old photographs of any of the old school
No, sir, sure
people
don't.
that were there?
No.
Are many of the people who were in those schools, they still living here?
The most of them, I guess, is passed on.
Okay. In the old days, when you were coming up, was there any type of mining in the area here, close to the river?
Not